got a great in-studio Feature Friday guest. He is Kris Ketz. He is laughing for things and reasons we will not talk about on the air.
Don't say great yet because the segment hasn't started. You may want to rethink that at some point, which is entirely fine. It's your show. You're the pro here. I'm just the guest.
You are here, so that means it's going to be great. That's why I got to drag in here once every few months.
You know what? And I because of conflicts and schedules and stuff, I feel badly and I apologize publicly because I had to tell you no twice. And I kept telling you, I owe you one. And so I just want to make good on that this morning.
Hey, man, I appreciate you being here. The audience loves hearing from you. And
I have to ask you.
Yes?
You've been doing morning radio now for how long?
In Kansas City, we are now in year 8. It will soon be year 9.
Okay. What time do you wake up?
My alarm goes off at 4:15.
How do you manage sleep?
I get about 6.5 hours.
See, you did. I anchored First News with Donna Pittman before I got the chair for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now we go on at 4:30.
Yeah, you're up a lot earlier.
Right. And so my alarm would go off at 12:40.
Woo!
Because I would be in at 2 a.m. Because I'm one of those guys who, I like to write.
Mm-hmm.
I like to have as much in the system in the computer.
You're not a read the prompter guy.
Oh God, no.
No, that's not what you do.
And when I go off the prompter, that's a disaster, which I do often. And our teleprompter, actually, spirit of full disclosure, is AI.
Wow.
It actually follows our voice. Okay, it's amazing technology. It really is. And like we're beta testing something for our parent company, Hearst Television. And it's amazing technology. It really is. And if you go off the prompter will stop until you pick back up the next line that's in the prompter.
That's amazing.
It really is. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's crazy.
That is wild.
Crazy, stupid technology.
Well, 4:15. I mean, I'm sleeping in compared to you. Jeez.
So, but managing sleep for a guy like you on this schedule, which I completely, totally respect beyond what you would ever know. Because I know how hard it is. It's morning radio. If it were that easy, everybody'd be doing it, and they're not. Okay, that's number one. But number two, to be doing it in this schedule. You have a wife, you have a family. There are demands on your time during the day when you would probably, I'm sure, 9 times out of 10 like to just close your eyes and grab an hour or two nap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I managed sleep very well, but it seemed to sort of work for me, except that. While I loved doing First News, loved it. More fun than you could ever imagine with Donna Pittman and Joel Nichols and Johnny Rollins up at the chopper and the whole team. But you're always tired, okay? Mm-hmm. You're in a fog, and it kind of colors everything. Your mood, your actions, your reactions, I found it just kind of colored everything. And my son, Jonathan, who's on a reporter now at Fox 4. He did mornings in the Quad Cities before he came here for about 8 or 9 years. And he had the same experience, okay? Mm-hmm. Young family, just trying to keep up with everybody at home. And the schedule is just brutal. Mm-hmm. And so guys like you who do it and do it successfully, I have nothing but the utmost respect.
Well, I appreciate that, Chris. The only thing I would add to that is, I don't mind the early wake-ups. But what people got to remember is it's not like I can just drag myself in and have a bad first hour. It's like that light goes on at 6:05.
That's it. It's go time.
It's go. You better have something interesting and unique and funny to say. And if not, you're screwed.
Again, it's the same thing. If this job were that easy, everybody would be doing it. And they're not.
Well, it's a lot of fun, but you're right. You got to be on your game. I appreciate that, Chris. That's nice of you to say. Now that you buttered me up, I got to butter you up.
So, Kay Barnes.
Yeah, you broke that. To be clear, you had the story that Kay Barnes, the former mayor, would be, of course, the interim county executive.
We were able to source it enough to where we were comfortable with reporting it at 10 o'clock on Thursday night. The story was kind of floating around a town. I'd gotten a couple of calls earlier in the day that the former mayor, was seen at the courthouse earlier that day, and people were kind of putting two and two together. When I heard about it, my first reaction was, what?
How old is she? 87?
Well, there was that, yeah, but it was like, wait, what? I think it makes sense for a couple of reasons. Number one, whether it's Deron McGee or Phil Lavoda or Dan Tarwater, I'm not sure anybody has 5 votes right now to assume the job of interim county executive for the rest of Frank White's term, which goes into early 27. I don't think anybody's got 5 votes yet. I could be wrong, but my guess is, and I think probably Deron McGee's the front runner, maybe with a small f, but I think he's the front runner. I'm not sure he has 5 votes yet. And so I think this buys him and them some time for this to shake out. I think that's number one. Number two, I think Kay Barnes is the kind of person who will bring, at least I think this is the hope, and I think this will turn out to be true. She will be someone who will present a certain level of calm to the legislature, to the courthouse, to the job of county executive, which, let's face it, it's been a pretty chaotic place for far too long. So I think Kay will bring that to the job. She's only going to be in the job 30 days max. Probably, my guess would be a couple of weeks. And I don't know that she's going to be faced with tremendous challenges or big decisions or anything like that. I think the legislature is in the process of kind of taking anything big off her table for now, which I think is smart. But in case there's, a natural disaster or something, you need someone at the top to be able to kind of push those buttons and start that process. Again, there were other people that were being considered. A couple of names out there I know in particular. Kay was approached. She wanted 24 hours to think about it, and I think it's a pretty solid decision.
Yeah.
In the interim, and she is temporary interim Jackson County executive.
Well, and that's what I was going to get to, because my thought when you guys first reported it, I thought, well, if she's there for a year, that would be good for maybe the Chiefs and the Royals, and she's got respect with those teams. But she's there for 30 days, so the Chiefs and the Royals thing is kind of meaningless to all this, right?
I don't know that she's going to be a part of that equation.
Yeah, I don't think she will be.
I really don't. But I do think that this, in particular for the Royals, I think this does open up some new possibilities here. I don't think it was any great secret that the relationship between Frank Wright and the Royals has not been good, and I think it kind of colored the discussions between the county executive and the team. And I'll tell you something, and this is just, I'm spitballing here, okay? This isn't necessarily a comment that's based on any sort of reporting or information or anything like that. I think John Sherman is giving Jackson County and the city of Kansas City, Missouri, and by extension the state of Missouri, every possible chance to get a deal done, because I really do think they want to stay in Kansas City, Missouri. I really do think that they like the Washington Square Park site across from Crown Center. I think that's where they want to be, but it's not a done deal yet.
Well, and I've thought too that the Chiefs want to stay and the Royals want to stay, at least in Jackson County in Kansas City, Missouri, because I keep looking at the Kansas deal, and I'm like, if this was the best deal and the can't miss deal of a lifetime, it's been on the table for 18 months, Chris.
Right.
18. Right. It hasn't changed.
Right.
I mean, if it's that amazing, why not just take it? Go.
I think if you're the Chiefs, I think it's a pretty enticing plan B.
Yeah.
To go out by the Legends. Now we're talking Dome. Now we're talking the possibility of Kansas City in competition for a Final Four, probably a Super Bowl, not in a rotation, but a one-time shot. I think that happens. And I also think, too, with the Chiefs and their interest in the kind of development, the kind of project that would also involve a lot of retail around the stadium, I think your chances of success are probably far greater out by the Legends than they would be by staying at the Truman Sports Complex and expanding there. Because let's face it, it's been, 50 years, and it's not as if there's been this, rush of people looking to build restaurants and stores and stuff around the sports complex.
It just hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't happened.
And there's no evidence to suggest it will happen, even if they stay for another 20 years.
Even if there's something new there. I don't see it. This isn't my line of work, and so I'm not an expert when it comes to this observation, but that's just how it feels to me.
Kris Ketz is here in studio on KCMO. We'll take a quick break, come back with him for the second half of our Feature Friday segment on KCMO 95.7 FM. We've got Kris Ketz, of course, Channel 9 anchor in studio here on KCMO Talk Radio. Kris, you've obviously been doing this now in Kansas City do you want to put a year on it? How many years you've been doing this now in Kansas City?
I am in my 42nd year at KMBC.
Amazing. Goodness gracious.
And here's my problem. So at my advanced age.
Advanced age. Okay. Jeez, I would have said 32 based on how you look.
At my advanced age, people are like, well, you're thinking about retiring. Here's my problem. And I mean this as sincerely as I can. It's still fun to go to work. I love the company, bosses. I get to anchor a newscast with Laura Moritz twice a night. There's nothing wrong with that, trust me. It's still a hell of a lot of fun to go to work. And I'm still challenged by it. And I'm already playing golf like 4 or 5 times a week as it is. I don't know what else. I don't know what else. I don't know what else I would do. And I am talking. I have friends in the business. A dear friend who is a local television news legend in Los Angeles, a guy named Hal Eisner at Fox 11. Hal Eisner's the guy that Tom Hanks comes up to and says, "I watch you every night on Fox 11 in L.A." He's that kind of a legend. And Hal just retired, and he and I had, and I've known Hal for years, and we just had a long. And Hal's like, "So when are you going to retire?" And I'm like, "Buddy, I don't know." And he did share one bit of advice. He said, "When it's time, you'll know." Mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna follow the advice of my good friend Hal Eisner in L.A. and when it's time, it'll be time. But I don't feel like it's time yet.
So let me ask you this: since you've got the reverse schedule to me, you get the golf during the day.
Yes.
Obviously, your kids are all older, so imagine you weren't playing a lot of golf when you were raising the kids, but now you're in that phase of life where you can. So you got the golf during the day.
Yep.
You go in. You're walking out of there at what, 11 at night, give or take, 10:30?
We're off the air at 10:36, and I'm probably out the door 10:50.
Okay. How long does it take you to wind down when you get home?
It depends.
Okay.
If I don't have anything going the next morning, it's not unusual for me to sleep in. And that could be anywhere from 8, maybe later.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
But it also, I do like to get up, reasonably early, 7-ish, 7:30-ish. And just because I feel like it's just a good way to start the day and you want to try to maintain some sort of a routine. I don't know that I'm terribly good at it, but the way I do it, I don't know, seems to work for me.
So when you get home, you don't have, just because you're in this routine, you've been doing it for 40 plus years now, you don't have the adrenaline still running when you get home. You're able to go home and just kind of call it a night?
Depends on the day.
Oh, really?
Depends on the night, yeah.
What determines that?
News.
Oh, okay.
Like Tuesday night, the recall election.
Yeah. You're juiced.
We had Mahoney in. It's like the old days.
Yeah.
Mahoney and I. And so, and not that Frank White getting trounced in a recall, I thought it would be a 75%.
That's what I said, 70.
70, 75. I wasn't banking on 85, 86. A little surprised. Maybe not so much surprised. It was a 20% turnout in Eastern Jack, as it turned out to be 10% in the city. And I just, we were talking about this yesterday morning as we were recording Week in Review, as you well know. That'll be on tonight on PBS Kansas City.
7:30.
7:30. Pete Mondoza, oftentimes great guest. And his political antenna, and we've seen this before, guys men and women who seem to have that part down together. Frank never got out in front of this dumpster fire as it was beginning to burn. And there were people who, we saw more of Frank White later in the campaign, much later in the campaign than we did in the beginning. And his argument certainly was there's dark money out there that's pushing the agenda, and that as a county and a county executive, we were limited by state statute, which is all fine and good. But it was so easy for the opposition here, and it was so easy for people who were getting these sky-high property assessments and these sky-high property bills to point the finger at him.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he just didn't get it or he just felt like, that people would see his argument. But he never got out in front of that. And the fact that, and I know that he defended the fact that he doesn't go to county legislative meetings. I think that was a bad look.
Horrible. He was just aloof. I've never seen a politician so aloof in my life.
Yeah, and I don't think Frank is an aloof person. I can't say that I know him well, but that's not his personality. It isn't. But aloof is a great way of describing it. Yeah. Politically,
totally aloof. Yeah, just out of touch with where his constituents were at in this moment. Because there's nothing in this country that's 85-15 right now.
No. You know what? And a couple of weeks before, what was it? There was this Saturday morning political event in South Kansas City that Frank, and he just got yelled out of that place. And he had, and thankfully for him, he had 3 or 4 uniformed Jackson County Sheriff's deputies around him because the heat was on, okay, and he got out of there, I think, pretty quickly. And I wonder if that was a watershed moment for him, because what followed was we saw a much more visible, much more public Frank White. He was starting to do interviews. He was starting to answer questions. He certainly had all the answers to the questions that people were asking him. But by then, the die was cast.
It was done.
Yeah.
He was finished.
Yeah.
So nights like that, I get it. You got Mahoney. I mean, Mahoney will get you fired up. He'll get you goosed up on a Tuesday election night, right? So
you know what? Michael Mahoney's one of these guys. When I walked into KMBC television on the 4th of July in 1983, I was coming from Moline, Illinois, and I had only been in the business a couple of years. I'd grown up in the business, but I'd only been in it a few years. I'd only been in television a year and a half. I worked my way through high school and college at a 1,000-watt radio station in Moline, Illinois. And back then, I walk into this veteran newsroom, and I have the late, great Edward Lewis to my right. I have Michael Mahoney on my left, Bob Worley next to him. A couple of months later, one of the best writers for my money ever, Bev Chapman. Next to her, Peggy Bright. And I'm sitting there looking, and I'm saying, I have no business being here. I am so in over my head. I'm in big trouble. It's even money that I would last a year. But I've always given myself some credit for this. I was at least smart enough at that moment to know if I just kept my mouth shut and watched how these guys worked, especially Mahoney, then I might be okay.
That's great.
And here we are.
And here you are. That's amazing. 42 years. So here in the last minute or so, Kris Ketz on KCMO Talk Radio for our Feature Friday segment. What do you have most fun doing every day at the job?
Whew, that's a great question. Because it's not just one thing. I love to write. I write a lot of my own stuff. Mm-hmm. My dad did the same thing when he anchored the news up in the Quad Cities for 35 years. I love to write. I still get juiced about stories. I still get juiced about storytelling. I still get juiced about the news. Even in this crazy, polarized environment. It's, as I say, I go back to what I said. It's still fun to go to work. And that's not a bad play. And listen, and I know a lot of guys can't say that, especially in our business. Mm-hmm. You know this. A lot of guys can't say that. And I which is why I probably appreciate my place in life professionally way more now than I ever have.
Mm-hmm. So. I love it. Kris Ketz on KCMO. Mark, when do you want me out here? All right. 50 seconds I got here, Kris.
Are they kicking us out the door?
He's yanking me. He's yanking me. But, we're a little easier on the time than in TV, but it's still, I'm up against it here, my man. Hey, I love having you in. Thank you for doing this.
Sorry for missing you the other 2 times you asked. I felt horrible about that.
I like getting you guys in here, John Holt every few months, and I appreciate you guys doing it.
Holt and I play golf on a fairly regular basis.
Well,
we're not very good at it, but we have a really good time.
If you need a 25 handicap, I'm your man, okay? All right.
Listen, I'm a 17, so you and I, we'll be fine.
All right, we'll get strokes from Holt. There you go. All right, you're the man, Kris Ketz. News is right around the corner on KCMO. Our caller of the day is coming up next. We've got Keatsman to wrap up the show.